She the queen, yeah, that's Queen Esquire. Legal trouble, she getting you out the fire. Another day and she solving another case, cause she litigate with dignity and grace. She the queen, yeah, that's Queen Esquire. Legal trouble, she getting you out the fire. Another day and she solving another case, cause she litigate with dignity and grace.
Hello, litigators and opinionators. Court is now in session. Now, if you guys have been subscribed to me, we have talked about this tragic case that happened in Mexico where the Tummy Tuck 4 went to Mexico to kind of be a support system to this young lady on the screen because she was trying to get her a tummy tuck. She was trying to get snatched on a budget, basically, trying to, get a cheap tummy tuck in Mexico. This doctor there is well known for doing tummy tucks over there, allegedly, y'all. And they have finally come out and spoke about what happened. And I tell you, the details are absolutely disturbing. Now, I don't know if she lied, because first of all, I don't know if the woman's telling the truth or not, because she says they claim they were going to get a tummy tuck. She was going to get a tummy tuck. But in this interview, she says that the drug cartel told her or tried to get her to have sex with Mr. Gentleman right there next to her. He's supposed to be her cousin or whatever. But she lied to the cartel and said, no, this is my brother and I'm pregnant or whatever. So I don't know if she is really pregnant or if she just lied to say she was pregnant so she could prevent from having to have sexual relations with her cousin here. That was very disturbing that they tried to have them over here engage in orgies or whatever while they're kidnapped. This is some twisted stuff these cartel people were involved in. And then after they tried to get her to have sex with him, and they said, hey, this is my brother. They basically lied to the cartel so they could get out of doing it. And she lied and said she was pregnant. Then she said they did the most disturbing thing they took the two deceased bodies of their close friends, y'all, and they put the dead bodies on top of the young man here in the wheelchair, Eric. He's still in a wheelchair. He was shot in the leg over a few months ago, or was it last month? I don't know. I think it was February. Or no, it was early March. And he's still in a wheelchair, man. He's still recovering. That is heartbreaking. But anyway, they put their friend's dead body on top of them to hide them. That is crazy. And then made them stay in this really disgusting shed and told them that they were going to, help them return them back to America. Yes, return them back and release them on, I guess, Sunday, but they ended up releasing them on or Saturday or something like that, but released them on Monday. It was crazy, man, what they did. But to be trying to have them over here engage in orgies and all that stuff with each other, that is weird. All right, let's hear what they had to say.
On this little side road, because
So what happened when you crossed over?
we turned down this little side road because we was gonna see if that led us to the destination and we was gonna turn around. We heard a car beat the horn and pulled around us. Zendel was in the back seat. He said, "Don't stop." He saw a gun.
We drove through a few streets and corners until we got back on the main street.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when a gang of shooting started. Zendel and Shaheed, they jumped out to run and they were gunned down. They was at Tay window beating on her window with a little gun, probably a 9mm.
Mm-hmm.
And I jumped out of the driver's side. And when I jumped out on the driver's side, that's when I was shot in both legs.
We was on the ground for maybe like 10 minutes after they took everything from us. And I guess whoever told them to just go ahead and bring us with them, that's when they loaded us on the back of the truck.
And your two friends, were they still alive at that point?
They were alive at that point. I couldn't see Shaheed because he was like behind me, but I could see Zendel back. He was hit 2 times and big chunks of meat was gone out of him. And then we rode probably 10, 15 more minutes.
Oh my God, that's disturbing, guys. I did not know that they were still alive after being shot. Guys, I thought that they died instantly, but they're saying that those two deceased that died, Zendale and the other gentleman, that they were still alive. Oh my God, that's so sad. Oh, my heart, guys. Let's go back. This is sad. The details. Now, we did hear details that they ran and then got shot, but just hearing them actually say it is just like disturbing.
And we got to the spot where they was taking us, the investigator or interrogator us, Mark. And that's when Shaheed said, "I love y'all, I'm gone." And he died right there.
Wow. Oh my God, guys. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that. Okay, when I first heard these details, y'all, I didn't hear all that. So I'm hearing this for the first time. The details that I heard was the ones I told you just now about the drug cartel trying to get them to have sex, but I did not know Shaheed was told them, "All right, y'all, I'm gone," like he was signing out of life. Oh no, that's so sad. Oh my, did you guys hear that? Okay, I gotta play that a little bit more because I gotta play that again because that is absolutely gut-wrenching. And there's another more detailed one I'm gonna play too, but I just want to play this snippet. Oh my God, like that is heartbreaking. Did y'all hear that? I mean, I thought they died instantly. That's what we thought, right? We were under the impression when we all saw that video, but they were still alive. And can you believe that? They said, "All right, y'all, I'm out." Dang.
And that's when Shaheed said, "I love y'all." The investigator or interrogator us, Mark. And that's when Shaheed said, "I love y'all, I'm gone." And he died right there. In
Those
the
were his
back
last
of the
words.
truck. Yeah. That he loved us and he was gone. That was the last thing he said.
Dang. Guys, that is so heartbreaking. Did y'all hear that? I can't. I cannot. Wow, this is so heartbreaking to the fact that they were still alive. Woo, guys, y'all need to pray for me. These stories get worse and worse. Now this snippet here I'm gonna play you is about 6 minutes. It might repeat some stuff, but it's gonna go into more detail because it looks like they did a longer interview than what that snip we got there. So let's hear this particular snippet of the interview. It'll give us a little bit more tragic details.
And McGee joining me now. Thank you so much for being with us. So what happened when you crossed over?
We turned down this little side road because we was going to see if that led us to the destination and we was going to turn around. We heard a car beat the horn and pulled around us. Zendale was in the back seat. He said, "Don't stop." He saw a gun.
We drove through a few streets and corners.
So that particular detail tells me that Zendale already started to be aware of the alert. That's something they were in danger. So Zendale was the first one to see that they were in danger, and he tried to warn them and told them not to stop, to try to get away from these drug cartel people, basically.
Until we got back on the main street.
Mhm.
And that's when a gang of shooting started. Zendale and Shaheed, they jumped out to run and they were gunned down. They was at Tay window beating on her window with a little gun, probably a 9mm.
Mhm.
And I jumped out of the driver's side. And when I jumped out on the driver's side, that's when I was shot in both legs.
We was on the ground for maybe like 10 minutes.
The fact, okay, so the drug cartel, that they aimed particularly at this man's legs. They didn't aim at any vital organs. That tells me they never really intended to kill these individuals. They wanted to kidnap them. When they were following them on that isolated road when they got lost, it looks like they got lost and they went on an isolated road where it was frequented by drug cartel. Drug cartel got alerted by them, saw them as a threat. Noticed in my opinion, their license plate as an American license plate, and the agenda was to kidnap, not necessarily to murder them. That's what it seems like to me, because they could have easily just executed that guy right out when he got out the car, when Eric got out the car. But it looks like they were aiming for the legs just to prevent him from escaping. So that's interesting to hear that they went for the legs, not that they tried to go for any vital organs.
After they took everything from us, and I guess whoever told them to just go ahead and bring us with them, that's when they loaded us on the back of the truck.
And you're
After they took everything from us.
A 9mm.
Mhm.
And I jumped out of the driver's side. And when I jumped out on the driver's side, that's when I was shot in both legs.
We was on the ground for maybe like 10 minutes after they took everything from us.
So right there, she said after they took everything from us. So it looks like they robbed them. It seems as when they took all the money and everything that they had, their prized possessions, they were robbed at that point. That's because she's saying they took everything from us.
And I guess whoever told them to just go ahead and bring us with them, that's when they loaded us on the back of the truck.
And your two friends, were they still alive at that point?
They were alive,
They were alive.
at that point. I couldn't see Shaheed because he was like behind me, but I could see Zendel back. He was hit 2 times and big chunks of meat was gone out of him. And then we rode probably 10, 15 more minutes. And we got to the spot where they was taking us, the investigator or interrogator us more. And that's when Shaheed said, "I love y'all, I'm gone." And he died right there.
Those
in
were
the
his
back
last
of the
words.
truck. Yeah, that he loved us and he was gone.
Dang, guys, that takes me out. Oh my God. Oh my God. Can you imagine? I could not. To see your friend, the person you grew up with, close relationship with, look you and tell you, all right, guys, I love y'all, I'm gone. Oh my God, that's gut wrenching. That is very sad to know that you heard the last words of your friend, the very last words. Those words would be etched in my mind forever. Forever. There's no way. I don't think they could ever be the same after that.
That was the last thing he said.
And that was in the back of the pickup.
Yes, sir.
Were you able to say anything to him, or?
Just told him I was sorry.
So you finally arrive at this destination. What was it? It was a
house with a lot of Mexicans outside with guns.
Putting on Diablo mask, red plastic mask.
they put masks on?
Yeah, it was putting the guns to our head, telling us not to look up, things like that.
Had you gotten any kind of medical treatment?
The cartel took us to a clinic after we left from the spot where they was questioning us at.
They told us, they was like, I guess after they kept asking us and our answers never changed. They said, well, we're gonna get y'all some help.
And what kind of treatment did?
I wish this reporter here, I wish he would have asked what questions they were asking. Because number one, they put a gun to their head. That is absolutely freaking scary. What questions were they asking? Because he should have, with that reporter kind of missed that very important detail when she said asking us questions. What kind of questions were they trying to gather from these people? I mean, secret security stuff related to American security, or what? I'm trying to figure out what questions, because they had guns to these people's heads. To their head. I cannot. Oh my gosh. Good evening, Deborah. Love you, girl. But this is just too much. Guns to the head and asking questions. I wish this reporter would ask what those questions were.
Did they give you?
They put my leg on a 2x4 and then they stitched it by 4.
Y'all some help.
And what kind of treatment did they give you?
They put my leg on a 2x4 and then they stitched it up.
They just stitched it up?
Right.
Did they give you?
No pain medicine or nothing. They just stitched it up. And it might have not even been later that same day, all the stitches bust out.
Did they?
Dang. So you can see Mexico's medical treatment is very poor. I mean, they didn't even give them quality stitching. Later on, the stitching just busted out. That man, it tells you what kind of privileges we have in America, number one, as it relates to the quality of healthcare. And then not only that, this has got to be the most kind drug cartel I ever heard of. What drug cartel have you ever heard of getting people medical treatment? This is weird. Like the whole way they operated was weird, which is why I think the whole agenda was kidnapping, because they tried to lie to the public and claim it was a mistaken identity and that, you know, they really was trying to take out some competitors that were Haitian. If it was really that case, they would have unalived everybody outright at that moment. But it doesn't look like that was the underlying intent. It looks like they knew that these people were identified as Americans once they seen the car and they identified the license plates. It seems that the initial intent from the very beginning was to kidnap these people and try to get ransom from the family. But when this case blew up in the media and when the FBI got involved and it became more of an explosive case than they expected it to become, they knew they messed up and they had to somehow right this wrong by getting these people back to America, because the FBI was involved now. Because there's been a lot of cases recently where Americans have been kidnapped and you haven't heard anything from them. In fact, there was a lady who was kidnapped and her family was contacted privately for a ransom money. And then they came back and asked for even more ransom money. And that case didn't get much media attention until several months later. So in that case, you notice the woman never got returned back. This case only was different, and it was a positive turn of events with these two people surviving, was because of the publicity and the FBI immediately getting involved in the case. That's the reason why these people are still alive. Because I'm like, I've not heard of a drug cartel going around getting people medical treatment. But even the medical treatment you could see was very poor quality medical treatment. And this man suffered. He was literally tortured. Imagine getting stitches and no painkillers. That is extreme torture. Wow. And the strength of these individuals to talk like this, I would be, I don't know how calm they are. I don't know how they could be this calm, but I respect their strength.
They checked to see if the bullet was still inside or anything like that?
No, sir. After they stitched it, they took some, like, I guess, gauze, and they put the 2x4 board under there, and they was wrapping it around like that, and I was telling them the 2x4 was hitting me in the back of my leg, and it was killing me, so they took away the 2x4.
What about Zindel?
Me and him was in the room together, and he was fighting for his life, and they ain't do nothing.
They didn't do anything to treat him?
Mm-mm.
Was he conscious? Were you able to talk to him?
Yeah. I talked to him the whole time.
What do you say in a situation like that?
I just told him I'm sorry because I asked him to come with me. And he was like, it's okay, I'm your brother. I'm supposed to be there for you. I love you.
And is that where he died?
They told, after he didn't fight so long, they was like, they was gonna take him to the hospital. Then they came back like maybe an hour later and it was like he was dead.
So all this time, I mean, there's guys with guns around you, guarding you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. They was like, we had to stay there for them to investigate us and different things. And like one of them was sitting by a chair, like where you sitting to, and he was looking at something on his phone. And I can remember the sound of that day of when it happened. Like I could remember the gunshots, the noise, and I heard it. And I asked him, I said, excuse me, is that us? And he said, yes. I said, can I see it? And he's like, hold on. And he turned the phone around and it showed a video of us being kidnapped and stuff like that.
One of the gunmen actually showed you the video that we've all seen of you being kidnapped on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, guys, I'm sorry. I got to stop this because this is a whole lot to process in one sitting. Oh my gosh. So now we're hearing all these very gruesome details. Shaeed seems to be the first one to have died in the car. And then now we're hearing that Zindel had managed to live all the way to the point where he was staying in that shed for several hours. And this is making me enraged. I'm confused. Why did they help treat the leg of Eric but not get medical treatment for Zaid or Sindel, who was experiencing life-threatening injuries? It doesn't make sense. It's like as if they wanted Zindel to die, but then they wanted to preserve Eric. It's really weird. The logic doesn't even, it's not even, the logic is not logicking. I'm not even a word, right? It's not making sense. It's not, I'm not processing that they didn't get Zindel treatment when he was experiencing life-threatening injuries. And now we're hearing that he managed to sustain and live that long as she's in the shed talking to him while he's trying to fight for his life with no medical treatment. Oh my gosh, this is absolutely too much to process right now. I did not know all these details of how gruesome it is. And then they have the audacity, y'all, to show her the video of them being kidnapped. Now, when they were watching that video, you could tell the cartel was stressed the heck out because they were over there watching the news, knowing that they had messed up when they saw themselves on the news. That's why they were watching that video, because they were like, oh man, we screwed up. We managed to land ourselves in the peripheral vision of the FBI. And then they went and showed her the video of her being kidnapped. Guys, this is a lot. This is a lot. Woo, I'm not going to Mexico no time soon.
That's surreal. I mean, what was that like?
I just started crying. It's like I'm never going home.
Did it in any way help you to know that this video was out there, that people
Yes,
at least
knew?
knew?
I thought maybe it was just out in Mexico. I didn't know that it hadn't reached the States.
The United States, right.
So I felt a little better, because I just didn't know our families knew anything that happened to us.
You're a woman in custody with cartel gunmen. Were they threatening to you in violence, in sexual violence? I mean,
yeah, they said all that stuff, all that.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They tried to make us have sex with each other,
We
but
told them we was brothers and sisters.
brother and sister, and that she was pregnant.
Wait a minute. They tried to make you have sex with each other.
Mm-hmm.
What did they say to you?
They was like, what are y'all? We said brothers and sisters. And they was like, have sex with each other. I was like, no, these are my brothers. I'm pregnant.
If you received unemployment income or a stimulus.
Are you kidding me? Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Now, Tanya, I don't think she's really legitimately pregnant, girl. I think she was just, trying to say whatever lies she could say to prevent from having to have sex with her cousin or whatever kind of like brother. He's not her blood brother, but, pretend brother. They've been knowing each other for so long. So they identify as that. And no, she wasn't actually raped, Christina. Thank God. But it's just they tried to have them basically have sexual relations with one another. Like this is some type of PORN video. Like they were trying to, I don't know what they were trying. These drug cartel people were absolutely weird.
Each other.
Mm-hmm.
What did they say to you?
They was like, what are y'all? We said brothers and sisters. And they was like, have sex with each other. I was like, no, these are my brothers. I'm pregnant.
Wow, that's a lot, guys. Oh my gosh. Oh, what a very, very horrific tragedy. I don't know if this is the same thing. Let's see.
So you finally arrived at this destination. What was it? It was a
house. But a lot of Mexicans outside with guns.
Putting on Diablo mask, red plastic mask.
They put masks on?
Yeah, was putting the guns to our head, telling us not to look up.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah, they wanted to watch, girl. Christina, they are twisted. What kind of mess was this? That is crazy. I am just, guys, I'm flabbergasted. This is crazy. I know people do say she looked pregnant, but I don't think. Let me see. Tanya says she said she was preggo, so they wouldn't make her have intimate relations with her brother. Exactly, Tanya. Exactly. That's my theory. I don't think she was really pregnant. I think she was just saying that to prevent from having to do anything, because we already know that they're not really blood brothers and sisters. They just known each other for so long. I know, the one that died with the dreads, he was a cousin. Eric is somebody she's really close to that she kind of sees as a brother. But what makes this detail so tragic is I thought, and a lot of us thought, that Shaeed and Zendel died automatically. We thought, okay, they died right off the bat when they were shot. But to hear that they were in the back of that truck, bleeding out, basically dying, and one by one, oh my God, that's so sad. One by one, they're telling each other that, like for the Shaeed saying, I love y'all, I'm out. Dang, that is heartbreaking. To just think those are his last words. He know he about to die. And he's like signing out of life. That is horrific. And then to know that Zendel had to suffer all that time in the shed, bleeding out, and they didn't even get him medical treatment, but then they went and got Eric medical treatment. That's weird. Why didn't they get immediate medical treatment for Zendel, who was bleeding out? It's as if they wanted him to die. I don't understand the logic. Yes, Tanya, she was out there for some supposed tummy tuck girl, so we already know she allegedly wasn't pregnant, okay? I think she just was saying that to prevent from having to do them sick orgy stuff. And again, I don't think Mexicans really in Mexico really care for Black people like that. I'm not going, I'm just keeping it real. So I don't think they would want to have relations with her. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't think they would. But they wanted to enjoy watching them do it together. That is just sick. What kind of drug cartel? These people are a hot, crazy, psychotic mess. And then the other twisted part is that they're sitting here watching the news as it unfolds, like it's some form of entertainment. I'm like, what? And then show her the video. Like, I lost it, God. This is crazy. It's almost like I don't even want to know the details because it's more disturbing than what we originally thought. Wow.
Things like that.
Had you gotten any kind of medical treatment?
The cartel took us to a clinic after we left from the spot where they was questioning us at.
They told us, they was like, I guess after they kept asking us and our answers never changed. They said, well, we're gonna get y'all some help.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to know what was the questions they were asking them. Why didn't this reporter go into the questions? Because it sounds like they were interrogating these people. It's like they sat them down and they kept questioning them, like, basically, why are you here? What's your intention for being here? Who are you trying to meet with? Because they probably thought these people were maybe their competitors as it relates to drugs maybe. And they probably kept answering, I'm here for a tummy tuck. I'm here to meet this doctor, blah, blah, blah. And they kept answering it the same way. So they finally realized, okay, well, I guess they are telling the truth. Let's get these people some medical help. We screwed up because now the FBI is involved and we got to get these people back to the American officials so that we don't end up getting our whole drug cartel economy, our drug cartel situation messed up, because they knew they messed up. That's why they started watching it on the news. Once they seen that they were on the news and it reached America, they knew they were messed up, because they've been kidnapping Americans left and right the last few months, y'all. And none of those people that have been kidnapped have been reported on the news. So those type of situations, those people don't end up coming back alive. They get robbed and they're unalive. The only reason why these two people made it out, like I said, is because it reached the Americans very quickly, and it reached the FBI, and the FBI got involved. Because cartel does not want to deal with FBI. They don't want nothing to do with FBI. They don't want to be on the FBI's radar. They want to be under the surface. But it sounds as though they were interrogating these people and trying to get some type of answers. That's what sounds pretty disturbing. And like Betty said, I'm on this campaign. I'm saying, man, straight boycott Mexico. There's no way you're going to catch me in Mexico. I'm sorry. I'll go any other place, y'all, except for Mexico. It's not it. It is not the place to go. This is crazy, y'all. Crazy. Oh, God. Help me, y'all.
And what kind of treatment did they give you?
They put my leg on a 2x4 and then they stitched it up.
All this time, I mean, there's guys with guns around you, guarding you.
Right.
They was like, we had to stay there for them to investigate us and different things. And like one of them was sitting by a chair like.
Did you hear that, guys? Did you hear that? It says they were investigating us. This is interesting. What were they investigating them for? Now it's starting to really make me think they did think that these people, that they were here for some type of drug transaction. Because they seem like the drug cartel seemed like they were really trying to get some information from them. Like it sounds like they were trying to ask them, why were you there? Who are you trying to meet up with? What's going on? Because she's saying that they were really interrogating them. It's like they sat them down and now it's making sense to me. Here's what my theory is. My theory is now changing. It sounds like it was a mistaken identity. It sounds like that now. At first, I didn't think that was the case, but it seems as though they wanted them alive to find out information about who was the leader involved in the transactions, who were they trying to meet up with, what was the intention for being there, all that stuff, because they basically kept these two people alive on purpose, started grilling them, asking them all these different questions, and asking them the same exact questions repeatedly over and over again. That sounds like a straight interrogation to see if they can get them to slip up and say what they want them to say, basically that they're here to go do some type of drug transaction, whatever. And when they allegedly kept up with their same answers, that's when they realized, okay, they're telling the truth. And it's like they wanted them alive so that they can grill them, because it's like she keeps mentioning questioning a lot. And she keeps mentioning the investigators, interrogators. And why does she refer to them as investigators? Was law enforcement, was Mexico law enforcement involved in this? And the reason why I think the Mexico law enforcement was involved is because the very shed that they were found in was located in the back of the police department over there in Mexico, where law enforcement is located. So it doesn't make logical sense to me why they would be in a shed right near the Mexican law enforcement. It sounds like they were working hand in hand together, because she keeps referring to an investigator, an interrogation. Something about this sound real fishy. Fishy. This don't make any sense, y'all. What? So, what's there? It says they may have seen the guy's video on Facebook when he was bragging about engaging in intimate relations with the girl they dropped off at the hotel. Yeah, he did have that kind of live. He did have a live where he was bragging about the other girl that wasn't on the trip. Somehow he was sleeping around with people and stuff. But that is crazy. I don't know if you could be right. What's the word? It's just weird that they were trying to have them sleep with each other and all this, an interrogation question.
Where you sitting to? And he was looking at something on his phone. And I can remember the sound of that day of when it happened. Like I could remember the gunshots, the noise, and I heard it. And I asked him, I said, "Excuse me, is that us?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Can I see it?" And he's like, "Hold on." And he turned the phone around and it showed a video of us being kidnapped and stuff like that.
One of the gunmen actually showed you the video that we've all seen of you being kidnapped on the street.
Mm-hmm.
That's surreal. I mean, what was that like?
I just started crying. It's like I'm never going home.
Did it in any way help you to know that this video was out there, that people at least knew?
I thought maybe it was just out in Mexico. I didn't know that it hadn't reached the States.
The United States, right.
Y'all, when she said, "I feel like I was never going home," that gave me the straight chills. Wow. Imagine thinking in your head that you're never going home. What would you feel? Oh my God. You would just start thinking about on your life and your life being over and you're never going to see your family again. Dang, these two people are never going to be the same. Wow. Now it kind of makes sense now, because you remember I was going in on her on another video because she was out clubbing. Like within a week after she got back from being kidnapped, she was out clubbing, drinking, smoking weed, allegedly on the video I played that was found from NC Beat. And now it makes sense because it's like she probably was trying to drink her worries away and not try to think about it. Like that makes sense. People process grief differently, and she probably was. That's how she processes it. You know, my processing of grief would have been to go to God and cry at my feet and pray. But other people are different. Some people use drugs. Some people use alcohol. Some people use partying. Some people just process their trauma a different way. And it seems that's how she was able to try to cope, was to go out and try to see if she could drink and party her thoughts away. That is so sad. Dang, y'all. This is,
So I felt a little better because I just didn't know our families knew anything that happened to us.
You're a woman in custody with cartel gunmen. Were they threatening to you in violence, in sexual violence? I mean,
Yeah, they said all that stuff, all that.
they did.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown.
You finally arrived at this destination. What was it? It was a
house with a lot of Mexicans outside with guns.
the way she described it, you know, a house with a lot of Mexicans outside with guns and they had red masks on. This sounds like something out of a straight horror movie or one of them scary action-packed movies, or like Colombiana. You know, you remember that movie Colombiana? My God, it's like, oh my God, I know they were so terrified, and then they had to see their two loved ones die before their eyes. Guys, this is just a sad update. I honestly almost don't even want to know the details. I'd rather have just not even known all this, because this made it even more horrific than it was. That's crazy. Yeah, I'll say boycott Mexico. Do not go there. There's too much trauma over there. Too much. People are still getting kidnapped as we speak. I did another story, and there's actually a recent one about another person got kidnapped. It's like, y'all need to stay out of that place. Yesem says, I don't even want to look at Mexico on a map now, let alone go there. Awful. Right. I'm with Yesem. I don't even want to know that Mexico exists. I'm done. I'm so done. And then what happened today with the Shanquella Robinson case, if you guys in here watch my videos on that, they're not going to be prosecuting that case either at all. Literally, the FBI said, they just basically just said the case is not going to be prosecuted at all. Period. Point blank. So that's another tragedy to show you. Do not go to Mexico. Stay out of there. There's other places you can visit. And if you do visit other countries, make sure you check the travel advisory before you go, because, you know, there's dangers lurking in different countries looking to try to make an American a target, because they see American citizens as a walking paycheck. They think that you have money and that you're affluent and all this stuff. You come from a rich country. So you're a target everywhere you go, but you want to make sure you check that travel advisory. And pretty much, if you look at the travel advisory, pretty much almost all the states in Mexico have some type of warning except for 2. That should tell you right along that Mexico's not it. Okay, it's not it. This is just so sad, man. Tanya says they probably didn't have enough medical experience to treat those type of injuries, just the way they patched it up. Homeboy's body says it all. Oh, okay, Tanya, that's a good logical theory right there, that Tanya said they may not even have the experience. It seemed like they didn't have much. We already know some of them doctors, a lot of them doctors in Mexico don't have the credentials, okay? So what Tanya said does make sense. Maybe they didn't have the experience or enough medical experience, like Tanya said, to even treat those. That is even more sad, man, that they had to suffer and die. Oh my God, dang. Maybe they're on medication that keeps them calm and functioning. That's what I need, strong meds. Right, yes, you might be right. You know what, she might be on, they might be on some type of, what is it, antidepressant, guys? Something like that. Or they might smoke, because, you know, smoking marijuana, that's a lot of people do. They smoke marijuana when they're under stuff like that. They might try to use marijuana to cope. But this is just sad. I just pray for these people, man. I'm not going to say anything else judgmental about this lady. I was going in on her about that club when she was at the club drinking and smoking. But now I'm not going to say anything, because neither I or none of us can understand. Oh, no, Betty just said 4 people went missing 2 weeks ago in Mexico. What? Oh, Benjamin's back. Hey, Benjamin, I missed you. Oh, Benjamin, go watch my 2 videos. They're not going to be prosecuted, honey. My love. They're not. I just don't see it happening. It doesn't look like, I mean, I don't see it happening, Benjamin. You let me know what your opinion is. You usually give some really good theories. I like your analysis. What do you think, Benjamin? I don't see it happening. I think they need to go the civil route. Unless the only way I feel it's going to happen is if Cabo 6 go back to Mexico themselves and get caught up and get arrested, because the U.S. doesn't seem like they're going to be extraditing. So that's sad. Yeah, like Betty said, the Cabo 6 need to be sued. I'm with Betty. Sue them and drain them dry. Like, let's just go for the bank account. I would sue them and take that thing all the way to a trial and maximize as much as I can in penalties and damages so that they don't ever get to enjoy a living ever. They'll have to pay that family back for the rest of their life. That's the only way they're going to get their justice at this point, because the FBI has already said its piece. And it looks like the prosecutor has also. That's from the prosecutor's office. So as heartbreaking as it is, that one is already plummeted. But I'm going back to what Betty said. Betty says 4 went missing 2 weeks ago in Mexico. Again, I told you, Betty, this is crazy. Dang, another 4 people kidnapped in Mexico. This is insane. What? I didn't know that. How come that's not on the news, Betty? Because I didn't see that one on the news, girl. I haven't seen Americans who, I haven't seen that one. Oh, let's see this. It said none of us deserved it. Okay, let's read this. This is another article. I was trying to get as much details about this tragedy with the 4 individuals, the Tummy Tuck 4. I don't know why they made up the name calling them Tummy Tuck 4, y'all. That's messed up. These people with these names they be coming up with, they are so messed up. Anyway, this is an article regarding the Tummy Tuck 4. It says Americans who survived kidnapping in Mexico share details of the captivity, and they said none of us deserved it. Now, that wasn't a part of the interview. I didn't hear that part, but they allegedly said none of us deserved it. They sure did not. More than a month after 4 Americans were attacked and kidnapped by a drug cartel in Mexico, the 2 survivors say they're still recovering from the trauma of the terrifying ordeal and the killings of their friends. They didn't deserve that. None of us deserved it, but we're alive. We have a lot of recovering to do, Latavia Washington McGee told CNN's Anderson Cooper in an exclusive interview. Okay, wow. So she's giving us some extra details. She's saying they did not deserve it. They're alive, and now they have a lot of recovering to do. That's so messed up. They sure do. Washington McGee, Eric Williams, Shaid Woodard, and Zindel were kidnapped on March 3rd as they were driving to a medical appointment in Matamoros, Mexico. Woodard and Brown were both unalived. The attack came in broad daylight, ambushing the 4 friends. The group said they were driving when they heard a car horn behind them. Brown looked back to see a gun and warned the others not to stop the car, Washington McGee recalled. Wow. Then the shooting started. Zindel said they jumped out and ran and they were gunned down. Wow. Relatives of Americans abducted in Mexico said that a purported apology from the Mexican cartel blamed for the attack has done little to dull the pain of their loved ones being killed and wounded. Yeah, of course, their little fake apology. They probably got paid a large amount of money too, because it looked like they robbed them. They took all that they had and then they kidnapped them. Dang. This is crazy. The fact that, Shaid said, I love y'all and I'm gone, and he died right there, that was sad. And now, you know what? Now we can see that Latavia's feeling guilty for this whole thing. Remember, everybody was blaming Latavia for going to get this tummy tuck? Well, she actually feels guilty for them dying. She apologized to both of them when they died. She said, I'm sorry for bringing you here. This is my fault for asking you to come. So she's going to have to live with that guilt for the rest of her life, guys. That is horrific. That she has to live with that guilt for the rest of her life. And then Zindel was the one that didn't even want to go in the first place. He already felt like, he was like, we shouldn't go down there. He was feeling something was wrong with it. He didn't know what was wrong, but he just felt something was off and he didn't want to go. And but the thing is, I feel like she got somewhat of a closure regarding Zendel, because when Zendel was in that shed and she was apologizing to him for bringing him out there and saying, I'm the one that told you to come, he told her it was okay, that he was her brother. So it sounded like he gave her closure before he died, and that to me was just absolutely monumental that she got that closure before he died, because some people don't ever get that closure. She would have probably had to live with that guilt forever, not even knowing, what he felt, but he actually told her that he had forgiven her, that it was okay. That is wow. This is crazy, y'all. I'm sorry that I keep repeating it, but I am just so floored by this that I gotta process this craziness. Dang. Wow. I told him I was sorry. He said he loved us and he was gone. And they had Diablo masks and guns, y'all. This sounds like some type of mafia movie or something. They had red plastic Diablo masks. Wow. And look, like this is saying here that they were taken to different locations over the days they spent in captivity, and they were getting blindfolded as they were moved between locations. Now, I didn't know that they were blindfolded. That's why I wanted to break this down, y'all, because some of the details were so fast. They were blindfolded. That must have been scary too, not knowing where you're going. You're with these crazy people with guns that putting guns to your head, and they're blindfolding you too. And they're armed in red plastic Diablo masks and pointing guns to their heads, telling them not to look up. Oh my God, guys, this is so scary. Like my heart is literally pounding it with fear, and I didn't even experience this. Dang. And it was like they tortured Eric because they put a piece of wood on his leg. That must have hurt. Dang, no pain medicine, nothing. They didn't even check to see. So they left, you know what they did when they stitched up the leg? They left the bullet inside. So they stitched up his leg with a bullet and still lodged inside his leg. I am done. The medical malpractice at this clinic, they clearly see, you can tell this is another piece of evidence to show you that in Mexico, a lot of their doctors aren't qualified. They don't be having licensed, qualified, experienced doctors. They just be having some botched people that probably just went to school, probably learned a little bit of something here and there about medical treatment, and then they just have them render this very faulty medical treatment. That is disturbing. And no pain medicine? And you took them to a clinic? What kind of clinic is this? Sound like a bootleg clinic to me. And man, hearing her when she said he was fighting for his life and they didn't do nothing. She said, I talked to him the whole time. I told him sorry because I asked him to come with me. And that's what she was talking about Zendel. She said, Washington said he was put in a room with Brown, who was badly wounded and dying. Dang, you got to sit there and see your friend die. And he was like, it's okay. I'm your brother. I'm supposed to be there for you. I love you. Wow. He said all this while he was dying, guys. Zendel Brown was one of the most, I just think that is so beautiful to know he's on his last breath. And he tells her these words. Wow, he was like, I'm literally willing to die for you. Basically, I'm okay. I'm your brother. I'm supposed to be there. I love you. Dang, that man Zendel is incredible. I'm sorry. I know people want to talk about his track record, and we did go over his track record because that is a part of the information out there. We had to talk about it. We got to give the good and the bad, and I'm about to give you half of the picture I'm giving you both sides, but just to hear his last words right here. These are monumental. I'm your brother. I'm supposed to be there for you. I love you. Dang. And Zendel Brown was the one that didn't even want to go. Didn't even want to go. Wow. Guys, can you believe that? He was willing to give this girl closure on his last breath. That man is heroic in himself. I can't believe it. I cannot. Dang. And the kidnappers told them they would take Brown to a hospital, but they came back maybe an hour later and he was dead. Oh no, man. Oh, that's crazy. And her thinking she never gonna go home, y'all. She said, look at this. This part we didn't hear in the interview. That's why I like to read these articles, because these articles, y'all, they give you a little bit more details than what the video gave us. And here's where the details come in that we didn't get from the video. She said then she thought in her mind that, you know, she started crying. She thought she was never going to go home. She said, I'm never going home. Then she said, then there was hope. Washington McGee and Williams were woken up in a dark room to see a man standing over them in a light. He was like, there's nothing that we can do to bring your brothers back, but we're sorry. Somebody made the wrong call. They was high and drunk. Washington McGee recalled the man saying. Wow, did you hear that? They said the drug cartel went back and told them, sorry, that there was nothing they could do to bring the brothers back, and that they were wrong, that somebody in the drug cartel made a wrong call because they was high and drunk. What? Do y'all believe that? Or do y'all think, what kind of wrong call was this? And what kind of questions were they trying to ask? This thing don't make sense. I want to know. That's what I'm saying. I feel like Anderson Cooper really should have dug a little deeper and asked what those questions were, because those questions are very monumental. Whatever questions drug cartel kept asking them. Because whatever it was, they went back and said, oh, I'm sorry. Have y'all ever heard of a drug cartel apologizing? These must be some modern type drug cartel. I ain't never heard of a drug cartel apologizing. They said, there's nothing we can do to bring your two brothers back, but we're sorry. You don't just say sorry for killing somebody. Like, and then they said somebody made the wrong call. They was high and drunk. Is that some type of admin thing? It sounds like they talking about a job. Oh, somebody at the job made a wrong call at the job, and we're sorry for this mishap in our employee. What kind of stuff is that? And then she said, they were always a step ahead. At one point, Washington McGee and Williams were blindfolded and taken to a truck. Williams said his friends' bodies were then placed on top of him to keep him hidden. The Americans were driven around all night as they heard the sounds of guns being cocked, Washington McGee said. They had police scanners and all types of stuff in their trucks. See, did you see this, guys? Look at this. The police were involved in this, the Mexican police. How in the heck, guys, did the drug cartel have police scanners? And then they were in the back of a police station. Guys, the Mexican police has something to do with this. Mexican police and drug cartel are involved, because Latavia is saying they have police scanners and all types of stuff in their truck. She said they knew what was going on. They were always a step ahead. So I was like, they're never going to find us like this, McGee recalled. So they knew exactly where the police were. They were basically privy to all the communications that the police were talking about, because they had police scanners. That don't make any sense to me. It sounds like the police officers were involved. They said, but eventually they were dropped off at a wooden shack where Washington McGee and Williams were rescued on March 7th. The survivors and the bodies of their friends were brought back to the U.S. Washington McGee says, she tried to escape twice during the ordeal for my brothers to have the proper burial and for us to go back home to our families and kids. Okay, so it looks like she says she tried to escape twice, y'all. Dang. Wow. Now, this whole apology letter that was issued by the drug cartel is a bunch of BS. I don't believe their little fake apology. What kind of, has been some type of the new age drug cartel apologizing? But they issued some fake apology letter, y'all, which is believed to be issued by Gulf Cartel, which is believed to be responsible for the kidnappings, and the group handed over 5 of its members to local authorities, according to the images circulating online, and a version of a letter obtained by CNN from an official familiar with the ongoing investigation. CNN cannot confirm the authenticity of the photos and has asked Mexican and U.S. authorities for comment. Though investigators believe the letters to be authentic, Mexican and U.S. law enforcement officials participating in the investigation strongly doubt the sincerity of the group's apology. The officials who shared the letter to CNN said, at least 6 people have been arrested in Mexico so far, according to Mexican officials. And I still don't think that those 6 people that were arrested were the actual direct people involved in this crime. They don't even look like the same people. The people involved were a little slight bit more chunky than the guys that were found outside, allegedly tied up. The ones that were tied up were more thin than the guys that we saw in the video. I'm just saying. This is crazy, y'all. Wow. Right, like Benjamin Padilla. I'm with Benjamin. Benjamin says, I'm actually chuckling about drug dealers apologizing. Now I feel guilty. I never heard of such a thing. Right, I'm with Benjamin. I've never heard of drug cartel apologizing. That's weird. See, look at this is another good question. See, Benjamin, he be coming with the straight questions. I like Benjamin's stuff. Benjamin said, I wonder what's the life expectancy in Mexico. I'm going to look it up now. Yeah, look it up. Look it up, Benjamin. Let's see what the life expectancy is in Mexico, because that is a good point. Let's see. I feel like the number one cause of death for Mexicans in America is murder by drug cartel. That's what I feel like. That's the number one cause of death. Oh, okay. Historical life expectancy data. They have a pretty long life. Okay. I don't know if it's long. Y'all tell me if y'all think it's long. It says in 2023, it was 75.41. So it looks like they lived until 75. That's not a long life, but it's decent. I don't know. What y'all think? So I guess their life expectancy is 75 years, y'all. This is crazy. Yeah, I'm with Betty. How come no famous people have been talking about Shanquella? That is unacceptable. I haven't heard any famous people talk about her. Are people of color special targeted in Mexico? That's a good question, Benjamin. You know what? I think so. I suspect, but I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I think Americans are targeted because there's a lot of other Americans who aren't Black who were kidnapped. So I don't know if it's people of color that's necessarily targeted. I think it's Americans if you're an American. But even Mexicans themselves have been targeted. So who knows? Okay. Okay, Dinah says, besides death by cartel, I know that diabetes is a killer. Coca-Cola is high addiction. Just saw a documentary on it. Oh my gosh, you're so right, Dinah. You are so right, girl. A lot of health issues. You could say that again. That's why I'm going on a campaign to try to educate people about health and eating more healthy. Because like you said, girl, diabetes is definitely taking people out. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this very sad update. This case is disturbing. I had to repeat some of the information again because I kind of wanted to dissect it and go over the details because there was a lot that they gave us. And if I just played it one time, we would have missed all those intricate details that we kind of went back and kind of really delved into. But the details that have come out are even more disturbing. I almost would have been better off not even knowing that because I'm so sad to know that Shaeed and Zindel had to suffer and that they were alive still. And especially Zindel, he had to suffer for such a long time in that shed, with no medical treatment. That is just so horrific. And how sweet and selfless he was when he told that woman that he had, it was okay and that he was supposed to be there for her. Basically, he was saying, I'm willing to lose my life over you because I'm your brother. That's just like, wow. Wow. Betty says the lifespan in the U.S. is 77. So we're not that far off from Mexico. That's crazy. And you know what? It has to do with our eating because the number one cause of death in America is heart disease. The second cause of death is cancer in America. So we already know it's our eating and our lifestyles. We don't take care of ourselves, y'all. Girl. Dinah says, I may have missed you saying this earlier, but did you hear what they said about there being 12 other captives in a room with them? Dinah, girl, I didn't hear that. All right, did you hear that? What? There must be a longer interview. 12 others held captive. Because she didn't say that in the interview, did she? Now you're going to have me look. She sought Tommy Tuck. This is like a, yeah, there's, what I'm frustrated about these articles, guys, is they give us bits and pieces. And they don't give us like the full interview. That's so aggravating. You know? It's so aggravating. Let's read this article then. I'm going to try to read another article because I'm getting aggravated that they don't give us all of the details in one article. They just give us a little bits of pieces. Thank you, love. That's why I love you guys in the chat. That's why I do these lives, because y'all be giving us other points that we miss. Thank you, Tavia, and thank you, Dinah. Dinah says she heard that too. My gosh, I must have missed that. What? I didn't hear that. So there were 12. Okay, so thanks to Tavia and Dinah that they're saying that there were 12 other people in the room with them that was held captive. Oh my gosh. Dang. I'm so irritated that I didn't hear that in the interview. I told you that's why I watched the video again, because I told you they be missing stuff, or you'll miss details if you only listen to it one time. 12 others in shed with them. Dang. Wow, this is insane. I didn't hear that. I'm trying to look that up, y'all. I did not hear that. That's crazy. Wow, that's so sad. That is just sad. I'm sitting here shocked. I am so shocked right now. This is why I don't want to go to Mexico. I'm sorry. Hashtag boycott Mexico. I'm done. Let's see what this one says, though. She says in this article, this was like a bad dream you wish you could wake up from. This is not from her, though. This is this is from March. We already watched that before. I didn't hear that on the interview, y'all. I don't think it was when they were in the shed, but when she said she rolled over to hear and see who was in the next room while she was in the dark. How did I not? Guys, I'm getting frustrated because let me know, other people in the chat, if y'all heard that. Because I didn't hear that part. This is what frustrates me about these interviews. They don't give you like the full interview. It just gave me like bits and pieces. Wow. Survived detail hearing experience. I didn't hear that, but if you guys heard that, I believe y'all. Y'all let me know. Because unfortunately, that's why I played it again, because I was like, maybe I missed something.
Tuesday and revealed how gunmen cornered their minivan and killed their friends, Shaheed Woodard and Zindell Brown. An innocent local woman also died. The 4 U.S. citizens were driving in the Mexican border city of Matamoros on March 3rd when they were ambushed.
We heard a car beat the horn and pulled around us. Zindell was in the back seat. He said, "Don't stop." He saw a gun.
We drove through a few streets and corners until we got back on the main street. And that's when a gang of shooting started. Zindell and Shaheed, they jumped out to run and they were gunned down.
Williams went on to say that's when he jumped out of the driver's side and was shot in both legs. They say the 4 of them were then loaded into the back of a pickup truck, and at that stage, Brown and Woodard were still alive. 10 to 15 minutes later, they arrived at a house where the kidnappers wore red Diablo masks and put guns to their heads, telling them not to look up.
That's when Shaheed said, "I love y'all, I'm gone." And he died right there.
Those
in
were
the
his
back
last
of the
words.
truck. Yeah, that he loved us and he was gone.
After being interrogated, Williams was taken to a medical clinic for his bullet wounds, where a botched surgery was performed without pain medication. This happened as Washington McGee was held in a room with Brown, who was still fighting for his life.
I just told him I'm sorry because I asked him to come with me. And he was like, it's okay, I'm your brother. I'm supposed to be there for you. I love you.
About an hour later, Brown was dead. During her captivity, the kidnappers also showed Washington Brown footage a bystander had taken of their kidnapping.
I just started crying. It's like I'm never going home.
The cartel members also tried to make the two survivors have sex with each other. They told CNN they refused, telling the gunman they were brother and sister and that she was pregnant. Mexican authorities have charged 6 men over the kidnapping, and the Attorney General's office of Tamaulipas has announced that 5 cartel members who were found with their hands tied together with belts near a pickup truck have also been charged. They were reportedly found with a note from the Gulf Cartel, which offered the suspects to authorities and apologized for their actions. Local officials have stated that the kidnapping appears to have been a case of mistaken identity and that the Americans may have been confused with a rival Haitian gang. The victims reportedly crossed the border for a cosmetic surgery appointment for Washington Brown, the other 3 traveling with her.
So y'all played that up and down. I have not heard anything about 12 others being in there, y'all. So if y'all heard that, y'all heard that. I can't really confirm that. But this is a photo of police who have a photo of them who have arrested 6 people in connection with the kidnapping. These are some of the people that were arrested. This guy, I didn't see him that was sitting along with those other people. So he must be another dude that they arrested recently. But here's a photo of him who appears to have been arrested for this as well. So that is quite interesting that they got this guy. Dang, and she's a mother of 6, so I'm just glad that she is still alive. She said they put me in a room with Brown, who was badly wounded before he died. He was fighting for his life, and they didn't do nothing. Yeah, she didn't mention nothing about 12 others, y'all. I've looked at this inside and out, okay? They heard, yeah, that she didn't say nothing about that because they wrote down word for word what she said. She didn't say nothing about 12. Now, the people she was talking about, there were a lot of Mexicans there with Diablo masks on. Yeah, there were tons of those people. Oh my God, that's crazy. They didn't deserve that. None of us deserved it, but we're alive and we have a lot of recovering to do. Dang, she said she thought we would never be found because their kidnappers had police scanners and they always knew where the authorities were searching for them. That's just crazy that they have police scanners. That is a trip. This sounds like something out of a movie. Okay. Dang. They were eventually found at an abandoned shack 4 days after they were abducted. 5 of its members have been handed over and at least 6 people in Mexico. Yeah, I don't see anything about that. I tried to find that. I don't see nothing about 12 people being in the shed with them. I don't know where y'all found that information, but it's not anything I could find, y'all. You said there's more than one clip. Girl, I looked at tons of clips, my love. Girl, I looked at all kind of clips. I don't know if you came on the live late, but I played look at all these clips I played. I played 1, 2, 3. I played several clips. Here's this one. 2 Americans kidnapped, reveal details in CNN Cooper. They need to stop doing all these clips. They be getting on my nerves. CNN, just play it in one interview, bro. One interview. We don't need you to give us all these. We don't need you to give us all these clips because it keeps repeating the same stuff.
And the deaths of their friends.
So all this time, I mean, there's guys with guns around you, guarding you.
They was like, we had to stay there for them to investigate us and different things. And like one of them was sitting by a chair, like where you sitting to, and he was looking at something on his phone. And I can remember the sound of that day of when it happened. Like I could remember the gunshots, the noise, and I heard it. And I asked him, I said, excuse me. is that us? And he said, yes. I said, can I see it? And he's like, hold on. And he turned the phone around and he showed the video of us being kidnapped and stuff like that.
One of the gunmen actually showed you the video that we've all seen of you being kidnapped on the street.
Mhm.
That's surreal. I mean, what was that like?
I just started crying. It's like, I'm never going home.
Did it in any way help you to know that this video was out there, that people
Yes,
at least
knew?
knew?
I thought maybe it was just out in Mexico. I didn't know that it hadn't reached the States.
The United States, right.
So I felt a little better, because I just didn't know our families knew anything that happened to us.
You're a woman in custody with cartel gunmen. Were they threatening to you in violence, in sexual violence? I mean,
Yeah, they said all that stuff, all that.
they did.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They tried to make us have sex with each other,
And we
but
told them we was brothers and sisters.
brother and sister, and that she was pregnant.
Wait a minute. They tried to make you have sex with each other.
Mhm.
What did they say to you?
They was like, what are y'all? We said brothers and sisters. And they was like, have sex with each other. I was like, no, these are my brothers. I'm pregnant.
Yeah, y'all, I played all kind of clips. I don't see anything about that, and I'm not going to keep playing all these clips because I played several clips. So if it's out there, it's out there. I can't find it. Oh, look. I didn't see this. Let's hear this. Look at this. This is when he was in the hospital, y'all. Oh, let me share this real quick. He was in a hospital, and he, Eric.
New this morning, one of the 2 Americans who survived a violent kidnapping in Mexico is sharing his story for the first time.
We're talking about Eric Williams, who is one of the 4 Americans taken hostage in Matamoros earlier this month. The kidnappers are suspected members of a drug cartel. They allegedly killed 2 Americans, but Williams and Latavia Washington McGee survived.
Williams was shot in the leg and has undergone several surgeries to repair the damage. Williams thanks supporters from his hospital bed.
I'd like to thank everybody for the prayers and the donations for my speedy recovery. I just want y'all to know I'm very thankful and happy that people out there do care, even with stories they're being told that are not true. But I will address everything, so thank you.
Our prayers are with him this morning. Mexican authorities have charged 6 people with the kidnappings. The cartel turned over 5 of its members allegedly involved and also apologized for the murders.
So that was interesting. I didn't know about that clip that he talked to people in the hospital. So we got that extra clip. But yeah, sorry, I couldn't find the final clip, girl. I'm sorry. I watched pretty much every clip that I could find out there, y'all. So if there's another clip, I missed it. I'm not going to keep repeating all them clips over and over again because we already spent an hour on here on like repeating clips. All right. I love y'all. Let me know what you think about these very sad, tragic updates. This is just so sad. Oh my God. May the beautiful souls of Shaeed and Zindel rest in peace. They did not deserve this. I pray they're at peace right now in Jesus' name. All right, guys. Love y'all. Take care.